we're going to talk about how to input a listing. So what we're going to do from our home page is go to the listings, enter new listing. Now, I said back in an earlier segment that we would set Los Angeles County as our preferred listing input county. So having done that, it already appears, and what we do is we go straight to the search county records. Now, even if you have a property profile and you have the APN, I think this is a pretty easy way of doing it. So just click on search county records, and what we're going to do is put in the address of the property we're listing. If you know the exact address, put in the exact address, okay? So I'm going to put in 124 through 124. Now, if you do a range of addresses, you're obviously going to get more results, but if you know the address, and you should of course, just put it in. So this is going to be South Isabel. Now, anyone who recognizes that address will know that this is actually the Glendale Association of Realtors. And of course it's not a residential address, but I'm using this just so that we don't have to use someone else's address. Okay. Now, we're all programmed to check boxes. Do not check the box. In this case, what you do once you've determined that is indeed the correct property is click select. And what it's going to do is it's going to take the information from the assessor's record and it's going to put it in here. Okay. There is a field here called new or under construction. Now this causes a bit of a problem. If you have a new construction but it's on an old existing lot, let's say for example they've torn it down, just left the chimney in, brand new, do not check this box. If you have an underlying APN number, tax ID, do not check this box. I'll show you in just a second when we get into the listing itself how you take care of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to place pin on map, and you'll see that over on the right here there is a pin shown on the map. Now the default is the road view. It's much easier to look at this in the aerial view, so just click on aerial and you'll see that the pin is on the building. Now this sounds a little strange, but down here below you'll see that we have a latitude and longitude calculated to I think 6 decimal places, and this has been calculated by Microsoft Bing, and Microsoft Bing considers this to be their intellectual property. Now of course the latitude and longitude is available to anyone, but because they calculated it, they say it's their intellectual property and we are not allowed to share it with other websites. To ensure that you get the best possible mapping of your property and that it is mapped on as many places as sites as possible, you need to do this one simple step. Grab the pin, press the left mouse button, shake it all about, make sure of course that you drop it on top of the house you're listing. In this case of course it's a building, and now you'll have noticed, well you probably didn't notice, but the latitude and longitude changed below, and we now consider that as a latitude and longitude that you calculated, not Microsoft, and we can then share it with lots of other websites. Silly little thing, but very important. We're now going to come up above and we're going to go to continue to listing input. And you will see when you get here that there are a bunch of fields that are red and have an asterisk next to them. Now these are required fields. So even if we tried, it would be very hard for us to accidentally list this property. Okay, we'd have to go through and actually input each of these types in order to actually enter this listing. I want to show you a few things. First of all, notice that the address, for example, has been filled in here from the assessor's records. If we scroll down the page, you'll see that we also have the bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage added. Now, of course, this is a not a residential property, so it's not filling in correctly. But there is something you need to know. The assessor tracks bathrooms in full numbers. We track bathrooms by 4 different categories. So every single listing that you bring into our database is going to show no bathrooms. And of course, we don't have properties with no bathrooms in Los Angeles County. It is your responsibility as a listing agent to make that information correct. So you need to go through and make the bed bath count correct. Let's say that this is a 3-bedroom house with 1 full bath and 1 3/4 bath. And this says 6549 square feet. Let's say that it's actually, say 2,000 square feet. If we change it to 2,000 square feet, you'll see that the system comes up with a message saying, hang on, that's not what we have from the public records. Where did you get this? And just use the drop-down menu to say, for example, that I got it from the seller, or I had the property taped, or whatever. Okay. you as a listing agent are listing the property as it exists on the ground. So you will sometimes find, for example, you have a 2-bed 1-bath house, it's been fully remodeled, it's now 3-bed 2-bath. You list what is actually on the ground. We're not in the business of going and checking permits. Obviously you want to put language in there to protect yourself, but you're listing what is actually on the ground. Okay, let's scroll down the page some more, and you'll see that there are places where we have big old lists of different things. And a lot of times we're asked, well, why on earth didn't you put these into drop-down menus? And there's a very good reason. If we had put them into drop-down menus, you would not be able to search them. Now, every single browser has a search function built into it. And what you want to do is press the Control key on your keyboard and the letter F. Now, I'm using Google Chrome, and you'll see that at the top here, a box just appeared. And when I start typing in, so let's say, for example, I'm looking for the garbage disposal, it will show me any word on the page that has whatever letters I've typed, and you'll see it takes me straight to garbage disposal. So this makes it incredibly quick and easy to find things. So for example, let's say I want to find the pool information. I type pool, you'll see it shows me that there are 16 different places where we have pool. I click through and go to pool house, pool type, pool features, association pool, etc., etc. So leaving those lists open meant that you can search them very fully. Let's type in limestone, and you'll see that as I start typing, it takes us straight to limestone counter. Now notice that there is an N next to it. What this means is that this is a non-standard field. So when we put carrots together, we had 6 different MLSs that got together, and we wanted to agree on a set of fields that would appear in every single listing. And you have to remember, this covers everything from mansions in Bel Air to mobile homes in the Mojave Desert. So obviously a lot of different interests in there. And we agreed on about 2,500 different fields. And there were a bunch of fields, this being one of them, that we could not agree on. So you'll find that some MLSs have a field for limestone counters and some don't. Now, what does this mean to you? As a listing agent, there is absolutely no downside to checking everything that applies. So we have limestone counters, you want to check it. As a buyer's agent, though, you want to be very careful about searching on non-standard fields, because the house might well have limestone counters, the agent might well have wanted to put that in the listing, but it just didn't even exist in his MLS, his or her MLS. So be very cautious on those fields. Up at the top, there is a box here that says save as an incomplete and exit. Now we do a complete separate class on data integrity. Just know that it is your responsibility as a listing agent to get everything accurate in your listing. So don't shoot from the hip. If you come across something you don't know the answer, my advice, use this save as incomplete and exit and go away, find the correct answer, come back and put it in. And that brings us to another point. Basically, you cannot put photos into your listing until you submit it. Photos are incredibly important. So my advice, have all your photos ready so that as soon as you click submit, you can then go and add the photos. And in fact, photos are one of the first things we're going to talk about when we come to class 2. So that basically is a quick wrap up on how to add a new listing. I hope you do many of them. Thank you.